in other words. For 2 years, he faked the war against ISIS. How long have I told you it was a fake war against ISIS? How long have I, Michael Savage, told you that we created ISIS? They're using our weapons. They basically were fighting under our air cover because we weren't using air cover to knock them out. How long ago was it that I said to you after they took Mosul, I said there was a victory parade of a half a mile long of their Toyota trucks, and we didn't fire one rocket at them, nor did Israel, by the way. That's when the bell went off in my head, and I said, aha, there it is. Obama and Israel have created ISIS in order to take out Assad. You say, well, maybe you're right. Well, now Russia suddenly changes the quotient. Russia steps in at the last minute and says, no, you're not knocking out my ally. You're not taking out Assad. We have our Navy there. He is our linchpin in the Middle East. You're just not going to do it. And this was after Obama had turned Putin into Hitler. Do you remember? Who else called him Hitler? None other than Hillary Clinton called him Hitler. So we have a situation now that's gotten out of control. The French, who have an imbecile in the army, I agree with ISIS, he is an imbecile. Hollande is an imbecile, plucked from the stupidest amongst the elite. I mean, it's not enough he's just they're intelligent socialists. They're a patriotic socialist. He's an imbecile. Right out of a 19th century daguerreotype from a lunatic asylum in France. But even that lunatic socialist has launched airstrikes against ISIS, while this fraud in the White House does nothing except expel hot air from between his hissing teeth. You hear the hiss of hot air coming out of him. I saw an empty suit speaking in Turkey. I couldn't believe what I was listening to. I know most of you were working and you didn't have time to listen. I watched with awe how he could get away with this. When even the liberal girl reporters in the audience sat there stunned that he would repeat the same big lie over and over again till someone stands up and says, King has no clothes. No, the king is either crazy or he's working for the other side. Get him off the stage. Put in a wartime consigliere, to use a metaphor from The Godfather. Obama's politics are dead. They're as dead as the ideology of progressive liberalism. Dead in the water. And yet they can't change. They won't change unless they're removed from office. Paris terrorists caught in raid plan to attack airport and mall next. And you'll see one of the brave terrorists with his behind showing. I'm sure that he will sue the French for violating his religion by marching him out with his pants off. Well, that's a violation of his culture and religion right there. You can't show a terrorist behind. Apparently that's a violation of their religion. I guess they can't go to heaven if at any time they're shown naked to the world. Here, a police dog killed by woman suicide bomber. America's enemies within, how nearly 70 have been arrested in America over ISIS plots. Thank our intelligence agencies for that. And so Obama says that we shouldn't be worried about women and orphans. The 7-year-old Belgian shepherd dog Malinois was killed by terrorists when French special forces raided an apartment building in the Saint-Denis early on Wednesday morning. A Twitter user who paid tribute to the dog Diesel said he had died to defend our colors, while one police handler said it was a little like losing one of our colleagues. Well, that's only part of the story. But let me tell you something. There's a lot more to the story than that. And the reason we're saluting the Russians today is Putin is sending 150,000 soldiers to Syria to wipe out the subhumans in the Islamic State. 150,000 Russian soldiers. And suddenly you will see all of the brave men who rape 8-year-old girls, the brave men who pose on social welfare sites with the weaponry that is given to them by these vermin. You'll see them flee like the rats that they are as the Russians go in. And let me tell you something that you don't know. The Russians are not going to be followed by Jake Tapwater. I can guarantee you that the Russians will not let Jake Tapwater or any of the other boys from America's Brazil of the jungle, called the media, follow them into action. Because unlike America, they're not going to be constrained by rules of engagement, which almost guarantee that our men get killed or shot first. I can guarantee you the Russians will not be followed by Jake Tapwater. They will not be followed by cameras. They will not have helmet cams. They will go in and clean them out. They will kill them, every last one of them. At the same time that Russia is stepping up to take out the worst threat to civilization since the Nazis, your leader is leading with his hind, not only doing as little as he can, possibly working for the other side, as evidenced by the fact that I showed you definitively on this program that before our Air Force bombed 118 ISIS fuel trucks, your commander-in-chief leafleted the truck drivers and told them to get out before they got killed. If that does not show you everything you need to know about Hussein in the White House, I don't know what else to present before you. Moreover, there is no valid reason why these so-called refugees should not be resettled in Islamic countries. There are approximately 15 Islamic nations. Most of them have Arabic speakers. They have the same religion. They have plenty of money. They have plenty of land. Why is no one insisting that these Muslims from Syria and from Iraq be sent to Middle Eastern nations, and that we take in the Christians and Yazidis who are being slaughtered, raped, murdered, kidnapped by the Muslim bastards? Do you understand what's going on? Do you understand that you're at war? If you can still walk around as this doesn't really affect you and lie to yourself, you know, only bigots would oppose bringing in Syrian refugees. Do you understand it's the same as the Jews in World War II? Don't you understand that a survey done in 1939 by Gallup about admitting Jewish children said no, don't bring them in? Don't you understand that the same bigotry that existed in America then exists in America now by the same right-wingers? Don't you understand that this is the lie being put out by the liberal organs of propaganda? Now, how do we compare the two situations unless you're mentally ill? Only a mentally ill liberal would compare the Jews of the 1930s fleeing Hitler to the Syrian refugees that Obama is importing into the United States of America. Of course they're different. Jewish immigrants weren't trying to kill us. Jewish immigrants didn't come here with suicide belts. Jewish immigrants generally were Jewish. Do I have to spell out what that means in a Judeo-Christian nation? They were not Muslim. We are a Judeo-Christian society. Judeo-Christian society. Not a Musso-Christian society, as Hussein would have you believe. The situation now is completely different. Jewish liberals are once again being hoodwinked by the illegitimate administration. You have no concern in admitting refugees from Syria? None? You have no concerns about this? Then you are mentally ill in light of what's going on in the world. You know, there's no difference between these religious so-called front groups that are making billions in smuggling refugees into America and the coyotes who smuggle refugees into America. You realize that they're just like smuggling groups? Do you realize that Catholic charities and the Lutheran charities and the Jewish charities that are making money hand over fist on these refugees that are being brought in are very similar to the coyotes who smuggle people into this country? Oh, I know one is legal and one is illegal, but tell me when that ever made a difference, when the fundamental result is the same. I mean, Coyote made $2,000, $3,000 a head for bringing in Mexicans illegally. How much a head do you think Catholic Charities is making for bringing in Syrians? Probably far more than that. So you see, if you follow the money, you understand that it all gets kicked up to the Vatican. Oh, yeah, there's a little vig comes off the top. And now you understand why the Pope and Obama are so cozily in agreement on so many things. All right, here's a story that could only come in the United States of America in a world of total madness. John Kerry gave remarks at the U.S. Embassy in Paris where he said the Charlie Hebdo attack had legitimacy and a rationale behind it, unlike the Paris attacks. Now, either he's crazy or he also is working for the Crescent. Secretary of State John Mad Dog Kerry's remarks at the U.S. Embassy in Paris Tuesday morning, he suggested Friday's attack was different from the Charlie Hebdo attacks early in the year because the latter had a sort of legitimacy and particularized focus behind them. I'm not writing this for effect. This is not a joke. Here is what the lunatic Ketchup Kerry said. There's something different about what happened from Charlie Hebdo And I think everybody would feel that, Kerry said, according to the State Department's transcript. There was a sort of particularized focus and even legitimacy in terms of, not a legitimacy, but a rationale that you could attach yourself to somehow and say, okay, they're really angry because of this and that. I rest my case, impeach them all, try them for insanity. But this is what we're facing right now. Do you think there's a sane person in the entire Obama administration? Do you think that there's one person in the Obama administration who knows what's going on? And where would that person be? Who would that person be? What department are they in? Let's see. Let's go down the list and see. Let's see which department a sane administrator might be. Would it be in the war against ISIS? No. Would there be a sane leader in the military command structure? No. Would there be a sane leader in education? No. Would there be a sane leader in the social policies division? No. Would there be a sane leader in immigration? No. Would there be a sane leader who deals with religion? No. Would there be a sane leader in the world of science? No. Would there be a sane leader in the world of business in the administration? No. Would there be a sane leader in the world of liberty and free speech in the administration? No. Obama says gun control to be top issue of final year. Okay, I was saving it. President the deranged Obama hopes to make gun control a top issue of his final year in office, saying Americans aren't more violent than other people, but they have more deadly weapons to outact their rage. In an interview published in GQ magazine, Mr. Crazy Obama said that he's going to seek gun control as one of the last things he does before he leaves office. At a time that he's flooding us with military-age males, mainly Muslims, from Syria, from war zones, he wants to disarm you. So does Hillary Clinton. I rest my case. The statement itself completes the whole discussion. Why are they not taking them in Saudi Arabia? Why are they not taking them into Lebanon? Why are they not taking them into Turkey? Why are they not taking them into surrounding Muslim states? Why are they not taking them into Iran? Why are they exporting them by airplane to us? Because he's bringing an army. Obama is literally seeding an army in the United States of America. I'll stop the paragraph right there. This has nothing to do with humanitarianism. He's insane. Russia and France are pounding ISIS's Syrian stronghold of Raqqa after the deadly terror attacks. And even though the United States has the largest number of airstrikes against ISIS, Obama is in a slap fight while others are punching hard, say military experts. This is on Fox News. He's slapping them while others are punching hard. And I read you the story that he had our Air Force drop leaflets on ISIS truck drivers in 100-some-odd fuel trucks, telling them to run because bombs were coming, and he let them escape to fight another day before he had our men bomb the trucks. Now, if we had done this in World War II, you'd be speaking German or you'd be a lampshade. I personally think he's fighting for the other side, and he's doing as little as he possibly can to avoid the obvious for even the dumbest Kardashian watcher. I would say even the dumbest person on earth can see what he's doing if they ever stopped and took a look at what he's doing and say, well, that's not right. Why would you leaflet the enemy before bombing them? I think that even a follower of Hillary Clinton would say that doesn't make sense unless you want them to get away to fight another day, right? The latest headline, the Untermensch from Morocco, who masterminded the killings in Paris, apparently was killed in the raid by the brave Parisian policemen. And we have a picture of the Paris terrorists who did not get blown up in the raid, who were planning to attack the Charles de Gaulle airport and a mall next. They stopped these vermin before they struck again. In other words, they did a preemptive raid unlike that of Barry Soetoro. Barry Soetoro will not do preemptive raids. The FBI has 1,000 investigations ongoing. You can drag them all out by their filthy hair right now. Drag them out! Detain them! Before they kill children in this country. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now. 855-400-SAVAGE. 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. Now we have some headlines to talk about. A dance of death in the West. Hollande says ISIS threatens the whole world. and needs to be annihilated.